In an age of media where disappointing reboots, retellings, and remakes abound, one has caught my attention more than most. Ironically, Transformers 1, the newest film about the never-ending Cybertronian War. This time, however, we start before the war, detailing the newest origin of Optimus Prime, Megatron, Bumblebee, and Elita 1, who most newer fans probably won't even know. Let me start by saying I've followed this franchise for a long time. I've seen multiple variations of these characters across different TV shows, movies, games, and comics. I have not seen or read every single one, but I have loved so much of what I've seen and I've been disappointed just as often. Transformers is a massive intellectual property, and if you ask me my favorite versions, it would be very difficult to choose a single adaptation. Most likely, I would have to choose the best parts of each series spanning nearly 40 years. I just want to preface this before someone says that I don't understand Transformers. I've definitely seen enough of the good to know what Transformers can be with the right people behind it. Transformers 1 is supposed to be about the meeting of Optimus and Megatron and the adventure they go on before becoming each other's greatest foe. And bringing in Bumblebee and Elita is a good choice in my mind. Adding well-deserved diversity to the cast and keeping the characters locked to the G1 cast makes sense to me. Elita in particular doesn't get enough recognition in modern iterations. In the short trailer, we see beautiful animated scenery and some great character designs. I especially love the vehicle designs for Bumblebee and Optimus. The character designs for the faces in particular is a little weird, but I can look past it like I have for other series. So you may be asking yourself, you don't seem to dislike the concepts, or the characters, or the art really. So what's the issue? The concept of a Transformers movie set on Cybertron either before, leading into, or during the war has been something that every single Transformers fan I've talked to has been begging for over a decade now. The opening of the Bumblebee movie, albeit extremely brief, shows exactly what I wanted to see. Show us the battles between these soldiers. Show us Optimus leading his soldiers into a losing battle. Show us these classic characters working together to overcome their foes, whoever they may be. Instead, they've taken the new Jumanji movies, which are great in their own right, and slapped a Transformers coat of paint on it. They even make the weird decision to make the ability to transform essentially a superpower, with our protagonist having to prove their worth. I'm sorry, but this is starting to look like trend chasing, and based on recent box office numbers, superhero movies are on the way out of the public eye, so this is a bad idea at this point. The voice acting here is pretty good, but the humor in the trailer is downright bad. I think Bumblebee will likely be the worst offender in this movie.
Whoa! I got a battle mask! Knife hands? I have knife hands!
I can see that.
If he keeps this annoying style of humor up in the actual film, I'll cheer when he gets his voice box ripped out. Which is sad because I really like Keegan-Michael Key. I desperately hope that about a third of the lines in this trailer are cut from the final product. So much of it is terrible fan service, and yes, I know it's made for kids. But Transformers can be made for old and new fans alike. It's going to be so difficult to force Megatron to turn on 3 of his allies who have proven their worth alongside him. It's a tall order, and I'm interested to see how they do it. The story between Orion Pax and Megatronus in Transformers Prime is compelling, and they work very hard to make them unlikely allies at several points in that show. Based on several shots in the trailer, I have a sneaking suspicion they're hoping for sequels to flesh out the rest of the war. But I'd be lying if I said I thought this would go any further than this film. I think they should have held off on showing Starscream, Soundwave, and Shockwave. That scene looks like it might be close to the end of the movie or even a post-credits scene. The worst part of this movie ending up like this is that if it flops, there's almost no chance we'll see them try this story again. The build-up to the war and the war itself is such a fun concept to play with that we haven't gotten to see fleshed out in any meaningful way on the big screen. For example, I personally believe that if you take the storyline of Transformers War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron from over a decade ago, trim a little bit of the fat, and add more character-focused scenes, and make a trilogy out of it, it would be a massively successful franchise, and even reignite the fan base. You already have the models, Hasbro. You can sell a ton of toys based on the G1 models. Just don't screw it up. Imagine this. Pit Orion Pax and D16 together for a whole movie. Even add Elita in there if you want. Grow that friendship between them. But over the course of the movie, have the tensions growing over the Energon supplies, or the current leadership failing to meet the needs of the population, and get D16 to start a revolution for the people. Have him genuinely want to better the lives of those around him, but have his message be flawed. Have him wanting to forcefully remove those leaders from power, amassing a large following in the process. Orion may become disillusioned with someone he considered to be his best friend, his brother, and he turns away in the moment D16 needed him most, pushing him further down the path of deception and hatred, leading to the creation of the Decepticons. Orion and Elita try to warn the current leadership that they're coming for them, But they don't take it seriously, and when D-16, now calling himself Megatron, attempts to storm the city, Orion stands between him and fights to find a better solution. He fails to protect them, but wounds Megatron enough to retreat, and for his valor he is granted the Matrix of Leadership, transforming him into Optimus Prime. Then make 2 more sequels, leading throughout the war until they must leave Cybertron, showing the devastating battles leading to the world being sapped of its resources and withering due to the conflict. Yeah, I know I just mixed together a bunch of different origin stories, and I'm pretty sure I've seen one very similar to this play out before, but it would be great for a movie, especially the opening for a trilogy. I genuinely believe there's a strong foundation here for a great story, and I would hate to see this concept wasted. I'm still going to watch this movie, and I'm going to go in with an open mind. I hope that they tell a great story, and it's not all just fanservice-y schlock. At the very least, it looks like the animation style will be enjoyable to watch. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.